Ombre. We're live. I'm gonna cut this camera back in a second and pull the mic down because I don't want to get flagged for a copyright infringement. I have one more riff in me that I have to play before I go live. Anybody out there watching knows exactly what I know if you've ever picked up a guitar. God bear right with you, Greg. Ryan Petty's been dialing in. Had to riff there for a second. Sorry about that. Would love to play something for you, but I don't want any copyright strikes. You know what I'm saying? Tend to get them, particularly when you're up on other platforms. Maybe not on X. Ryan Petty will be here with me in just a couple minutes.
This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Armed American Radio's daily defense, because they don't want me to. That's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It happens to be a garbage day at the ranch today here in the CZ Studios. Mark Walters in front of the Patriot Patriot. Greg, help me out here. The Patriot Mobile microphone here, yes. At the Patriot Mobile Command Center on Garbage Day. Of course, it's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. We'll get that out. We're going to have the Facebook up for you here in just a second as soon as I click a couple buttons here. So we'll be live on Facebook for you here in about, 15 seconds or so. Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. And we are live up on Facebook now. Greg, I'll let you tell the gang that's listening across the country where they can tune in as well and participate in the chat. And we'll go right to Ryan Petty.
Sure, other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over at X, we're at AAR Mark. You can also head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Woohoo! That'll get you in. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started on Garbage Day at the Ranch. Ryan Petty, down in beautiful Florida. How you doing today, my brother? I know we did a test on him. Where is he? Ryan, we got you. Come on back to me. Come on, Big Ryan. Come on, Ryan. You got a copy, Ryan? You
I'm
got
here.
A copy? There he goes. What's up, Ryan Petty?
All right.
He had to get that. He had to get that peanut butter and that Haagen-Dazs down before he could go back on the live mic. He says, "He's going to me too quick. I got to swallow that food, that ice cream. I don't want to get an ice cream headache." How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, and you're not kidding about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got one right here.
Did you? Oh, you actually had one
in the next break.
Wow. So listen, are you all queued up? I got the pre-order for the Age of Disclosure documentary on the fact that we're not alone, opening up on Friday in select theaters around the country and on Amazon Prime. Did you happen to order that by any chance? You need to.
I haven't. I just have assumed for a number of years that we aren't alone, and I don't want to think about it too much because
it's creepy,
I've seen
isn't
enough
it?
movies. Yeah, well, I've seen enough movies to know it doesn't usually go well for us. If they're coming to our door, then that means they got technology that's way better than ours because they got from wherever they're from to wherever we are, and it doesn't go well for us.
So question for you. Let's assume that we found out, okay? Would that frighten you? Just on movies? Or would it be the technology that they possess to get here obviously means they also have technology that gives them much better weaponry than we have?
Yeah, if you look back at the history of our own planet, right? Whenever people with better technology have, let's say, emigrated to a new land,
right.
Typically the inhabitants of that land have not fared very well. It's usually the superior technology that wins out. It's not just the technology, though. It's technology, it's culture, it's capacity. I mean, the thing that would make me wonder, the thing that would really scare me, obviously they've got better technology if they got from wherever they are to wherever they are here. I think it's safe to say that. The question, though, is, do they have the supply chain logistics like the American military? The reason the American military is so powerful is not just the weaponry. That stuff's awesome. But it's the fact that we can get fuel and food and ammunition where the battle is. And we do it better than anyone else. And we have, since I know in World War II, the Germans were just absolutely blown away by our supply chain logistics and the way we could keep the battle lines armed, the soldiers armed, fed, and fueled. And so if they've got good supply chain logistics, I'm thinking Norman Schwarzkopf here. if they've got a Norman Schwarzkopf, we're in trouble.
Okay, I'm going to go one step ahead of you. If they can move interplanetary, Norman Schwarzkopf is nothing. He's a nothing burger. If they can do that,
Oh, sure. I mean,
yeah,
look,
I mean, supply
you're talking
chains. That's the
you're
least of
talking
their
about
concerns.
well, you're talking about superior technology, but if their intent is to conquer Earth, let's say, and again, I have no idea whether they'd want to conquer Earth or
They'd
whether
already
they would
done
come
it.
as friends. Yeah, they would probably have done it. I like the Star Trek version of the future. A big fan of the Star Trek version of the future. You know, in that movie, at least in that cinematic universe, as the kids like to say, the Vulcans come to Earth. They notice that we've just discovered warp drive, and they come to Earth, and they come peacefully. So I'm hoping that there's another species out there that's more like the Vulcans than less like Independence Day. Let's put it that way.
We'd better hope so. If it's real, we'd better hope so. I wonder if they have assault weapons. Oh no, the left will go crazy. What happens if aliens bring assault weapons by the
I'm
spaceship?
sure they're going to bring their
full?
weapons of war.
Speaking of their weapons of war, did you happen to get a look at what I sent you a little bit ago before the show cracked open today?
I did, and
Okay.
I had
Now,
a hard
I gotta
time
go
keeping
here.
the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I
down.
figured
Reading
that's
it, Mark.
probably what there was. You'll choke on that. I nearly choked yesterday, and I wasn't eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And guys, I'm talking about this every town for gun safety, debunking gun myths at the dinner table. We didn't get to a fraction of it yesterday on the program with Lee. It was hard to do. So I saved a few for you, Ryan, that we'll go through. And again, I want to cover this again in greater detail. AWR is going to be writing about this. So look over at Breitbart News in the very near future. I haven't checked yet for his material to see if he dropped that story yet, but he is salivating over this one, as a lot of people are. So are you ready to get into that? You want to talk about that for a couple segments? I think it's worthwhile to do so because it brings up everything that we talk about, yet it gives, I don't even want to say their perspective because they don't have a perspective. All they're trying to do is push an agenda, so they say whatever they want. They don't come at this with any conviction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, look, every single one of these I've looked at is a straw man argument that they're throwing out, and then they respond with their gun control nonsense.
Yeah, so let's go here. Let's take a couple of these guys. This is, again, everytown.org/debunking gun myths at the dinner table. You can figure that one out. Just put a dash in between or a hyphen in between those words after the /debunking, and you can follow along with us. But please don't do that while you're driving. Please don't be that person. And one of them that I wanted to hit with you, that I did hit with Lee yesterday, of course, Parkland. You are a Parkland father, so let's go here. Because the myth, and I pointed out the Parkland Commission yesterday, 13 members on that commission all went in anti-gun, all came out, and pro-arming staff. Myth from Everytown for Gun Safety: arming teachers will keep our kids safer in school. Now, according to their fact, arming teachers ignores research that shows the presence of a gun increases the risks posed to children and teachers. School safety experts and law enforcement oppose arming teachers. Well, I know lots of law enforcement officers that are not opposed to arming teachers. And I went to Bob Galtieri yesterday, used him as an example, because he was actually on the commission at Parkland. So how do you square this up? Because you sat on the commission too, and you were instrumental in the Guardian program. And remind listeners again, how many school shootings there have been since there have been armed staff in schools? Remind me, in Florida, how many since 2018, since Parkland?
Yeah, we've had zero Parkland incidents in Florida.
Well, I'm going to guess, though, that maybe zero Parklands, but I'm going to guess there's accidental negligent discharges every day in schools across Florida,
No.
right? No, that doesn't happen either?
No, doesn't happen.
Well, but then I have to assume, because I'm told to by these clowns, that staff, teachers, guardians, we don't want to give away the farm here, but I'm going to assume that kids are taking their guns away from them and using them against the teachers. So we've obviously got dead staff somewhere because kids are taking their guns.
No, it hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened either yet. Huh. Well, can you tell us what they might be referring to then? 30 seconds.
No,
Take us to the music.
I clicked on the link to see their other research, and basically what what they're showing is
We're not going to make it to the break, guys.
Polls.
We're not going to make it to the break with this. I'm laughing, and I know Ryan's chuckling a little bit. The music's going to grab us. Ryan, hang on to that thought. You click the link that goes to their research, and guys, if you're on this page with us, and it would, depending on when you're listening to us, if you have the opportunity, follow along with us here. Okay, this is fascinating. It really is, and we don't have time to go through all of it within the hour. Segment one's already over. And I know somebody out there, well, if you didn't spend 5 minutes talking about aliens and spaceships, that person is out there too. And that's okay. If you don't want to fun with us from time to time, that's cool. You can turn the dial. I don't mind. We'll be back. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense from the CZ Studios with Parkland Dad, Ryan Petty. Don't go away. Back on the flip side of the break.
following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Indeed, welcome back to the show. Patriot Mobile microphone lit up for you here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. And this segment's being brought to you by Patriot Mobile, patriotmobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of all the great discounts they offer over there. I have a Patriot Mobile phone here. You can do the same thing, get a free month, swap some phones, do it piecemeal if you want to. But for crying out loud, give your money to companies that support our rights and our freedoms. That's how it works today, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the way it is. The other side is made sure of that. Well, let's give them what they want. Take away their money and give it to people who support your right to bear arms. Patriot Mobile certainly does that. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. You can find them and all our great partners at ArmedAmericanRadio.com or .org. Ryan Petty, welcome back in, my friends. Always a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Great to be with you today, Mark.
All right, so you clicked on I knew we weren't even going to get that 30 seconds out. It's just comical. I could hear you laughing under your breath there, and time's going by. I also clicked on that link, and when you do that, it takes you to solutions. Stop arming teachers. So take it away.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 2 or 3 clicks before you find out that when they're part of their opposition response times for law enforcement. Look, most of these school shootings are over in under 5 minutes. The average law enforcement response is 7 to 10 minutes. The cavalry's coming, but they aren't coming in time. So you've got to have somebody on campus, a good guy with a gun, which is another one of the things they try to debunk. A good guy with a gun is needed to stop, a criminal. But when you dig down into what they've actually researched here, they've actually gone in and they make the statement at one point: an armed teacher is much more likely to shoot a student or a bystander or be shot by responding law enforcement. And they point to two articles, one in the Washington Post and one in Slate, where I'm assuming a concealed carry holder engaged with an armed assailant and accidentally shot a bystander or was shot by law enforcement. Look, the Guardian programs, most of these around the country, the folks are very well trained. I would put the Guardians in Florida, by the way, Mark, I think you know this, they qualify at a higher proficiency rate than law enforcement does. So you're not sending, the 68-year-old teacher who's packing a revolver. You're not sending them into school. What you're doing is you're sending a trained individual that has demonstrated proficiency in firearms and training and has to requalify and recertify frequently. That's typically how these state programs work. And let me just make one more quick point, because this is the one that is lost on folks like Everytown. The teachers are also at the wrong end of some of these firearms and these killers that come into our schools. And who are you, Everytown, to deny a teacher the right to self-defense just because they've chosen the career and profession of being a teacher? A teacher has the same rights to self-defense and to protect themselves and the lives of their students as anyone else, and you would deny them over what appears to be garbage research and research that flies in the face of the experience that many states have with armed teachers and armed guardian program.
All right, let's get right down. Let's cut right to brass tacks here, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to talk about now is very uncomfortable, but I'm going to go here. Ryan and I have had this conversation personally. We've had it on air. Ryan's daughter was lost at Parkland in that horrific incident there. Now, I want to play theater of the mind with you for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to picture your school-age children, K through 12. I don't care, even college, but let's just focus on the K through 12 right now, where, Ryan, you have a situation unfolding and you have a teacher that barricades a classroom door and there is chaos erupting. People are being murdered. in the hallway in that school at that very moment in time, and it's utter chaos, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to kind of picture this in your own mind. You've been in the halls of your children's schools. Use that as a reference point. Picture that classroom that you've gone to see all the drawings that the kids have done, or for whatever meeting you go to, or the holiday functions at the school, and meet the teachers. And I want you to picture that classroom that you've been in, and picture that door, picture that room filled with those kids, regardless of the age of those children, whatever age your children are. Use that as real life and walk with us here. Hold our hands and walk with us here. As that chaos is erupting, the teacher that is unarmed and defenseless is left with doing one thing, Ryan, and that is trying to barricade that door, period. Let's assume there's an attempt to get in that classroom. Now, ask yourself this question, ladies and gentlemen. Would you rather have, using the scenario that Ryan Petty just laid out for us eloquently, would you rather have a teacher, and honestly think about this, who is unarmed at that moment in time, knowing that the cavalry is another 8 minutes away, if they're lucky, to even find what room this is happening in a school the size of your child's school, whether it's K through 12 or K through 6, elementary, high school, I don't care. The bigger the school, the harder it's going to be. Would you rather have that teacher pointing a weapon at that door, defending your children's lives, or not? And that moment of silence is intentional because I want you to think about this. Ryan, help us with this, please.
Yeah, look, there were several opportunities at Parkland to stop the killer. None of the staff were armed. And the one individual that was on campus that was armed and had some ability to stop the attack failed to go in. So
he's more worried about his retirement in his own ass.
He was. And so what we've learned, and you see this in a number of incidents, is, sometimes there's courage in numbers. So the way we look at it in Florida is, a good guy with a gun is great. 2 good guys with a gun, even better. 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't know how many armed guardians are on the campus at a Florida school. You'd have to be stupid to go in and try to attack a school in Florida. Now, I'm not trying to dare anybody to do anything, because I absolutely don't want that to happen. But you are going to face immediate lethal force if you try to attack a Florida school. And that's the bottom line. And that's, I believe, large reason why it hasn't happened again. There's some other things that we do on the prevention side that I think we've stopped a number of Parkland-style attacks and planning. But between the prevention and the deterrent effect of armed presence on our campuses, that's why we haven't had those attacks.
Yeah, when we come back from the break, I'll remind you about a conversation I had with a Virginia Tech survivor. And I want to do just a little bit deeper dive into Everytown's response as a part of the link that we clicked on. And if you're following with us, you can walk along with us. If not, we're going to read it for you so that you don't have to do that. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues. Incredibly important conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And the other side wants you to think. They want you to feel like you're nuts. They are literally attempting to reach the ignorant masses here, because that's who supports them, is the ignorant masses. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here Monday through Friday in the CZ studios, all brought to you by the National Rifle Association and all of our other great partners and sponsors as well. Please make sure to visit them. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to join the National Rifle Association. It's that simple. We have got to have your support. There's very disturbing polls out showing Democrats up in the midterms by as much as 8 times where they were previously every time before they've taken the House. Ladies and gentlemen, it's scary stuff, and all you have to do is look at Virginia and see what they have in store for you. For crying out loud, if the Democrats do pull a House and a Senate victory in 2028, or excuse me, 2026, it's going to be a long 2 years to 2028. So the point that I'm making is start planning ahead. It's called strategic thinking. Those of you that own businesses understand what I'm talking about. That's long-term planning. And please, please, please take advantage of these great discounts and understand that, well, yeah, it can happen. The Democrats might. You never know. The Trump hatred is out there on the other side, which is energizing their voters. So what do you do? How do you fight back? Join organizations like the National Rifle Association. Do it in advance. And again, it's only $35 a month. We save you $10 on the 1-year membership, $15 on the 3, $25 on the 5, and $500 on the life. You can find all the details and all of the information for that promo that is running through the end of this month over at armedamericanradio.com, or excuse me, you find the NRA there, and that will link you to the nra.org/AAR, where all of that information is available to you. Please, please, please take advantage of that today. And you can find, while you're there, all of our other great partners as well. As My Pillow is there, Barrel Buddy is there. I see a lot of you have purchased the Barrel Buddies. If you love them, send us some information in the chat, because those things are dynamite. BarrelBuddy.com. And use the AAR promo code. You can then become an affiliate and make money at your range, selling your friends on Barrel Buddies, and they'll thank you for pitching the patch. Take advantage of it. ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Ryan Petty, welcome back. Let's continue this. This is I'm going to say it's a joke, but it's very important that we talk about it, because while it is very important, it is a joke the way they approach this. But let's take some of their own words. To prevent tragedies, we must implement strong school safety solutions, but arming teachers is not one of them. School shootings are chaotic, and in these moments of chaos, we cannot ask teachers to stop a shooter, potentially a current or former student. Why? Because the teacher's going to get emotional and not want to put down a murderer. Oh, that's Paul. He was in my class last year. He killed 8 people, and he's coming in to kill me. Paul, stop. I can talk you out of this. Now take a listen to what they say. Having guns in the classroom increases the likelihood that a student will access a gun and that someone will be shot outside of an active shooter incident. Schools are places for books and backpacks, not weapons. They should have put in their unicorns too. Instead, we need proven solutions that are backed by data and that intervene before violence occurs. That's wishful thinking, Ryan. That's why cops carry guns. That's why millions of Americans carry guns, because we don't want to rely on wishful pie-in-the-sky utopian, well, let me just say it, unicorns farting strawberry-scented flavored dust, Ryan. Real life does not work that way, does it?
That's the problem with the left in general, Mark, but more specifically this group. They're living in a fairy tale land where one must simply put up a sign on a fence outside of a school that says firearms are prohibited and nothing untoward shall ever happen there. This is the way they think, right? I mean, you're going through the recommendations, right? Enact sensible gun laws. Well, okay. Sensible's doing a lot of work in that sentence, right? So, what does that mean? Well, what they want are extreme risk protection orders, right? Mm-hmm. And secure gun storage. And then they want background checks on all gun sales. That's already happening, right? Raise the age. Yeah, they want to do that. And then they want to get rid of assault weapons and high capacity magazines. This is what, at the end of the day, this is really what they want. So that whole first page that you and I were walking through earlier is, straw man argument, and then their point of view on how to solve that particular problem. And all of this stuff is garbage. The extreme risk protection laws, they don't work, and they're a violation of due process. And they can talk their way around it or try to talk their way around it, but they're absolutely wrong, and they know they are. Secure storage laws are not going to stop active assailants. Look, the Parkland shooter at one point had the firearm. The guardians he was with had the firearm locked up, but he took the key and made a copy of it. Right, so he got into it. Secure storage doesn't work, and laws requiring background checks. Look, the Parkland shooter went through a background check, and if he couldn't have passed the background check, his mother was going to buy the firearm for him. So this idea that background checks, extreme risk protection orders, and safe storage are somehow going to keep bad guys away from our schools is just absolutely crazy. And I don't have to tell them that their last one here, limit, assault weapons and high capacity magazines. Hey, Virginia Tech, Everytown. What happened there?
Let's go
there. Is that
there.
an assault weapon?
Yeah, let's go there, because he was carrying a handgun. He had a Glock and he had a 22. 32 people were murdered in the span of under 10 minutes because he chained the building. Nobody could get out. And when I spoke to one of the victims in New York in the green room before going on the Stossel show a number of years ago, I had an opportunity to talk to the kid face to face, and I asked him this question, and I was being very polite to him. And I said, I know what you went through was traumatic. He was shot 4 times, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And he survived it, thank God. But I said, if we could wake the people up, the 32 colleagues of yours who were murdered, and tell them you have 10 minutes advance notice. You can have a gun with you, or a teacher can have a gun with them in the classroom to protect you. This is what's going to happen to you in 10 minutes. How many of those 32 people would say, no, I don't want to defend my life. I want to be dead in 10 minutes. Rather than, yes, I want a chance to survive. I would be willing to bet every single one of them would say that, particularly in a place like Virginia. And his response to me was, Mark, more guns in schools is not the answer. I asked him the question again. He said, more guns in schools is not the answer. He was just repeating the trained line that they were paying him to say. Now, here's some states where guns are allowed in schools: New Hampshire, Ohio, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, South Dakota, Wyoming, North Dakota, Idaho, Oregon, believe it or not, Utah. Now, there may have been some changes to this. I believe Alabama has made some changes there, but I'm not sure. And I believe Louisiana may have. Arizona is working on it as well, but we've got Kwong Win out there that every time they put a bill out there, he shreds the anti-gun bills. But they go deeper here. There are good reasons why arming teachers is opposed by school safety experts, teachers, and law enforcement. First, when a gun is in the classroom, students can get access to it. How? Ryan, how many students have gained access to the Guardian's guns in Florida in the last 7 years?
To my knowledge, Mark, 0.
Okay, well, wait a minute. That can't be, because Everytown says when a gun is in the classroom, students can get access to it. So are you telling me that students can get access to it? We just have really cool kids that don't get access to it?
No.
You see where I'm going here, right? Let's have fun with this. I do. But be serious.
Well, they're lying. They're lying. And so what they want you to take away from this, right? What they want parents to take away from this, and voters, is that the teacher's going to come into class, open carry style, right? Mm-hmm. Take the revolver out, set it down on the desk, and start teaching, right? That's not how any of this works. The firearms are concealed. No one knows who is carrying a firearm, and in many schools, the other teachers don't know. The guardians are don't tell the other staff who's got a firearm. Now, the guardians know who the guardians are, mm-hmm. but that's it. And so it's all meant to scare the average citizen who doesn't want to spend more than 30 seconds thinking about how to keep their kids safe in school.
So here's the question I pose to you, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to this break, as the music plays out. Do you feel safer being on an aircraft knowing that your flight deck officer, pilots, are likely armed or not? We'll be right back. self-defense program for
Lights
gun
are up,
owners
cameras
backed
up.
by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Indeed, welcome back to the program. National broadcast well underway, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the camera back up because I do want to show you my Attorneys on Retainer card. I promise you it's real. It is right here in my hand, and I show it to you every day, attorneysonretainer.us. Make sure to have this card in your wallet, please, if you carry a firearm. Best thing you can ever do. You will sleep better at night. You'll say, you know, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I finally, I listened, I paid attention. It's $35. And if you ever find yourself at trial in court for a charge because you had to use a gun to defend yourself, you will have a team of up to 4 attorneys. Think of it as the dream team. That's what I've been calling it, because it's your dream team. And it is a dream in the sense that you don't have to pay more than $35, not per attorney, but $35 a month. That includes expert witnesses, anything forensic, any investigations, doesn't matter. $35 a month. attorneysonretainer.us. Please use that AAR promo code and take advantage of this. They are wonderful partners, I should say sponsors. And please, please, please take advantage of these great sponsors that we have. All of them are available at armedamericanradio.com. If you are got holidays coming up, budsgunshop.com is the place to go. It's our exclusive online retailer. Make sure to check them out. budsgunshop.com. They're going to be running tons and tons and tons of specials, and hopefully I'll be up there broadcasting for you. It won't be before Thanksgiving, obviously, but it'll be sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We'll keep you posted on that. But visit them, budsgunshop.com, budsgunshop.com, Crossbreed Holsters. They're all available for you, including these great products at Patriots Relief. I just used it right before I went on air. This is the roller thing here. And this stuff right here, Cooling Relief Roll-On, 1,500 milligrams CBD stuff, and it's really good. It works all over the shoulders when it hurts, ladies and gentlemen. Works for me. It'll likely work for you as well, patriotsrelief.com. You can find all of our great partners over there at armedamericanradio.com. All right, Ryan, back in with you. This whole thing, as we were talking about, is really a mess because it's so chock full of lies, and it is so misleading that I have to believe, Ryan, that it's intentional. And that, believe it or not, is hard for me to wrap my head around, that an organization would intentionally sit down, because, Ryan, the meeting had to go like this. All right, well, let's frame it this way because it sounds better. Well, Bob, what if that's not true? Well, it sounds better. And if we just remove that word or this word, well, it's kind of true. Is that what they're doing here?
Yeah, it's deliberate. There's no question about it. I mean, they spent a lot of time putting this site together, and I know they very likely fretted, I'll use that term, fretted over every single word that's in here because of the way it's written. And it's very specific because the way they word this, so red flag laws take guns from people without due process. Here's another one, right? And it says, red flag laws, which authorize courts to issue orders to temporarily remove firearms from someone who is determined to be a danger, who is determined. No, they haven't been determined to be a danger to themselves or others. There's an accusation or an allegation that they're a danger to themselves or
by someone
others.
they might not even know, and they don't know the accusation's been made, by the way.
100%.
Let's not even go
100%.
there.
And then they say final orders can only be issued after the person is given notice and an opportunity to be heard.
The guns have already been taken, folks.
Very deliberate wording here, right? They went over this very carefully with a group of marketers. The attorneys took a look at it, said, you can say this, you can't say that, whatever, you should change this. And then the marketing team came back in. There's no question in my mind, but they've painted that red flag one right there, Mark, is an absolute bald-faced lie, and you and I both know it, and they know it.
Yeah, one here that I didn't get to yesterday, and I skipped it unintentionally, but I want to cover it with you now for the remainder of the hour. Myth: guns don't kill people, people kill people. Wait till you hear this response from them, ladies and gentlemen. That's the myth. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's what they say. They claim that's a myth. Well, let's debunk the myth. Ryan, you and I are sitting at your dining room table because I finally went down there to do some shooting with you and hang out with you at the ranch that you've been inviting me to do for quite some time, and I haven't been able to do that, and I do that.
And we take it. He said, what gun did you bring to shoot? And I bring out one of my guns and I unload the gun, and it's all clear. We all know it's clear. And I set the gun on the table, and you say, well, no, load the gun. It's not doing us any good if it's unloaded. And I load the gun, and we set it on the table, and we spin it in a circle. And the two of us sit and stare at it until midnight. Is the gun going to kill anybody?
It will not, Mark.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Ladies and gentlemen, they claim that's a myth. Here's the fact. This is their answer. People with guns kill people. What? Did they not just checkmate themselves?
100%.
Because the gun doesn't kill people. That's what they claim is a myth. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Well, people with guns kill people. Yeah, people kill people. Guns don't kill. People with guns kill people. And they say more efficiently than people without guns. That's a true statement. It's probably more efficient for me to shoot you dead than it is for me to try to strangle you. Of course, that's why I carry a firearm, to defend myself, Ryan.
Yeah, 100%.
What am I missing here? Am I misunderstanding this? Help me. If I am, fix it.
Let me go to another one, Mark. This shoot first laws provide everyone an equal right to self-defense. That's their myth, right? Then fact, shoot first laws, which allow a person to use deadly force even when they can safely walk away. that's such bunk. It's absolutely disgusting that they phrase
They're
it
talking
this
about
way.
stand your ground laws, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they call them shoot first laws, because when Florida passed the stand your ground, I was in town right as that was being debated. Oh no, it was right after it was signed. And I remember seeing the billboard on the side of the road warning tourists that Florida is a shoot first state. Of course, they're talking about stand your ground laws, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and just misrepresenting it, mischaracterizing it, right? That's why they call it shoot first states. And then, of course, they've got to turn it into a racial component and say that it disproportionately impacts Black Americans. This is just the way these people think. This is the mind of the left. They're even against, if you go down further, Bark, they're even against active shooter drills in schools. Now, you and I, when we were in school, I think we're about the same age. Mm-hmm. You and I used to do not only evacuation drills, we did fire drills.
All the time.
We did. I remember one or two where we got down at our desks in case there was a nuclear bomb that went off, that kind of a thing. So did it freak me out? Did it make me feel unsafe? No. The fact that this idea, they say there's no evidence to show student participation in active shooter drills prevent school shootings. Listen to what they said there. Yeah. Prevent school shootings. That's not the purpose of the drill. And you and I both know that. The purpose of the drill is so that child, that classroom, can get to the safest area possible. That's why we do the drills, not to prevent school shootings. These people are disingenuous liars, and I've got a place where they should all go.
Yeah, you and me both. And I maybe we'll cover this one tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. But everyone already has to get a background check when buying a gun. They say that's a myth. Federal law only requires licensed dealers to perform background checks. That means that millions of guns are sold by unlicensed sellers each year without one, often online. Ladies and gentlemen, it is illegal to buy a gun online illegally and have it shipped. It doesn't go to your home. It goes to a dealer where you have to get a what, Ryan, real quick with 10 seconds left to pick it up?
A background check.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the radio live again tomorrow. Be here.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters. Presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, folks, ran out of time there with Ryan. That's a fun conversation and really important conversation. We'll probably spend a little bit more time on some more of those questions tomorrow because we can, and it's what we do here. We respond to this nonsense from these groups, and it's quite frustrating. It's maddening to be honest with you. And, of course, Ryan Petty lost his daughter, Elena, at Parkland. He knows a little bit about this, folks, more so than any of us ever want to find out. God bless him and his family, and we thank him so much for bringing his what happened to his family, his tragedy, to the airwaves with us to talk about it from a pro-gun and pro-rights position from his standpoint, which is what his daughter believed as well. It's remarkable stuff, and we're honored to have him as a guest on the program every week on Armed American Radio and the Daily Defense. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. So until then, remember to carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever been caught outside his cave without his club. Enjoy what's left of your day, depending on what time you're listening to the program. It's 58 minutes after the hour, and I'll see you on the radio tomorrow.